Hi grade 2, how was your weekend? Did you have fun? I hope so. I hope that you managed to get a good rest and that you got to enjoy some relaxation time. Well, I'd like to say happy Monday and welcome to your science class. Doesn't really look like it could be a science class, could it? Well, as you know, we have been looking at different types of plants. On the note of different types of plants, were you able to get out at the weekend at all? Could you find any of the plants that we were looking at? Were you able to put them into different categories like we did in science on Friday? If you could find some, that's fantastic. I'd love to see them. Keep them somewhere safe and you can bring them in and we can stick them to the display that we made on Friday together. Well, as you can see, we do have another beautiful plant here, but we're not doing anything too difficult with this plant, and it doesn't smell real. You guessed it, today is craft day. I thought we could do something fun on a Monday, and today we're going to make our very own little plant. We're going to focus on all of the things that a plant needs to grow and all of the features of a plant. So we're going to try and make it as accurate as we can. But first, let me show you what it is that you're going to need to make this craft. If you don't have everything in your house right now, that's okay. I'd love you to try and make this sometime this week if you can. So if you do need to pop to a stationery store, just pop out for 5 minutes. Otherwise, you can use anything else around your house. For example, the stem is a pipe cleaner. But if you don't have a pipe cleaner, that's fine. If you have green card or you have something that you can paint green, that would be fine also. So don't rush out and buy lots of things. Let's have a look at what you're going to need and then I'll show you how to make it. So to make this lovely plant, you will need some coloured card or thick paper. You'll also need some green tissue paper. Obviously, we're going to need to do some sticking, so we'll need some Scotch tape and a glue stick. We'll need to cut out the petals, so you'll need some scissors, but be careful, make sure you've got your mum or dad with you. If you have a plant pot, use a little plant pot, but a paper cup or any sort of plastic cup will be fine. You'll need some strips of brown paper, and that will be used for the soil. You'll need some clay, if you have it, and that will be used for all of the seeds and the pollen. And as I've used, you need some green pipe cleaner. If you don't have that, any green card or green paper or something that you can paint green will be fine. So let's look at how it's done. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need to take is your green pipe cleaner or whatever it is that you're going to use, because the first thing we're going to make is the very strong stem. Now, if you are using a pipe cleaner, you can see that this bends really easily. And something that we were talking about before is that the stem has to be really, really strong and tall. So here's what we need to do. Take about 15 centimeters. Then you're going to fold it. So you've got two lengths of 15 centimeters. Then you're going to fold it again. So you have 3 lengths of 15 centimeters. Then you need to fold it a 4th time. So there'll be 4 lengths of 15 centimeters. It doesn't matter if it's not exactly 15 centimeters, but just about. Then take your scissors and just give it a snip. Make sure you close your scissors nicely and then you can put the rest to one side. What you're going to do with this now, because it doesn't really look like a stem, we need to start twisting. What we need to do is hold them and pinch them between your fingers and twist all the way from one end to the other end. Now what this is doing is that it's putting all 4 of those 15 centimeter lengths into one strong stem length, because 1 layer is too weak, so 4 layers is just perfect. So do you see how that stands upright? But it still moves because flowers do move in the wind. So we can just pop that down to one side for now. And what you'll need to do is take either your plant pot or your plastic or paper cup. And for this also you're going to need 2 pieces of Scotch tape. So I'm going to take 1 piece here and put it on the side, and another piece here, and I'll put it on the side. Don't make it too long, because if it's too long it won't fit inside your paper cup or your plant pot. Okay, so here's the slightly tricky part. What we need to do is take the sharper end, because there will be one end that's sharper because you cut it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to bend it just a little bit, just enough for about our thumb size. What we're going to do then is place a piece of tape over this in one direction, like so. We then need to press this inside our plant pot so it can stay stuck upright. The reason we've given it a little bit of a foot is so that we can stick it down, because now, voila, we have a standing stem. But just to be extra careful, take a second piece of your Scotch tape and you can put that inside as well. Be careful to push it all the way down so that it sticks all the way to the bottom. Can you see how that sticks inside? And it stands upright. So what we can do now is put this just to one side. We don't need our sticky tape anymore, so that can go over here. And what we need to do is take some brown paper. Now, I've already ripped these into shreds, like you can see. Now, the reason I've ripped these is because we're going to pretend that this is the nutritious soil. Obviously, we know that the soil is what helps the seed to germinate and grow roots, and that's where it receives all of its nutrients from the rainwater that comes into the soil and from the soil itself. Now, as you can see with what I've done here, I've tried to crumple them up in my hands, and then I've twisted them. What we're going to do then is layer that from the bottom all the way up. Let me show you how. So, taking one strip, we're just going to scrunch it up in our hands so it almost becomes like a long sausage or worm. Now, what we can then do, let me just put these to one side and bring my plant pot, is twist that around into a circle. We'll then place that circle over our stem and all the way down into the plant pot, like so. And then we repeat the process and make layers all the way up until we get to the top. Now, what I like to do is change direction. So the first way was this way, the second way I'm going to go that way. This way it helps to build the layers evenly. And again, a third piece. Remember, each time you want to make sure that you push all the way down so that it looks like soil and not like pieces of paper, even though we know it really is pieces of paper. Can you see how it's already started to build layers? Okay, let's keep going until we reach the top. And again, I'm changing the direction. So each layer is a different direction. That helps to make the soil even. Even means the same level and the same size. Okay, and the next piece. And we're almost at the top. I think one more piece should do it. So we've got one more, which we're lucky to have. We do have an extra little piece that I've got just in case. But I don't think for today we're going to need that. Now, as you can see, all I've done is keep pushing that soil down, and it makes it compact like real soil. I've not had to use glue, I've not had to use any tape for that. I just layered it, changing direction each time and pushing down. Okay, I don't think I'm going to need to use this, so I'm going to put it over to one side. So, we know that all plants must grow in the soil. From the seed and the roots, it will grow a nice, tall, strong stem. But how else does it get its nutrients? Well, if I look at the one that I made earlier, I can see I'm missing two very important parts. These are, of course, the leaves, and the leaves take all of the energy and nutrients from the sun. So, what you'll need for this is some tissue paper. Now, I'll pop that over here. What I've got is 2 pieces of tissue paper, and you'll see why from the examples that I have already cut out. What I've done with those 2 is I've folded them over, and from the folded edge I have cut out just 1 leaf, but because I've made it 2 layers, it becomes 2 leaves. But if I pull away one of these pieces of paper, you can see that it has the shape like this. And I'll show you exactly why. Here's what I cut out earlier from here. Now, this helps us to wrap this leaf really neatly around the stem. Let me show you how. What we need to do is lay out our cut double leaf shape. We're going to take some glue this time, and using our glue, all we need to do is just glue one side down. Now be very, very careful because you don't want your tissue to rip. Okay, so holding with one finger on one side, there we go, we're just putting glue onto one part of the leaf. Okay, here is the slightly tricky part. So you might need a grown-up to help you with this. What you're going to do is, just like a jacket or a coat, you're going to wrap this tissue paper around the stem and glue both sides together like so. Now, if your leaf doesn't, this leaf has actually stayed pretty well, but before the leaf didn't. So a way of making that stay really nicely is to just gently twist the leaf around the stem. That also does make the leaf look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so as you can see from my tissue paper, I've repeated this process 2 times. That's because I wanted my flower to have 2 leaves. If you want it to just have 1 leaf, that's fine. I've gone for 2 leaves. So here's the other leaf I prepared earlier. Let me show you one more time what it is that we're going to do. We hold one side down with one hand, and we take our glue and we just gently spread the glue onto one part of the leaf. Then I'm going to have my leaf going in this direction, and I wrap it around like it's a coat or a jacket, and again I push down, pinching between my fingers, and again, just to be really secure, I'm going to twist that paper around, and there we have our 2 leaves. They're almost like brothers and sisters. Right, let's put that over here. And now this time I would like to show you how you're going to make the flower part. Obviously the flower is the part that seeds, so we need to make that, and it's very important. Now, we could have done this like maybe we were in grade 1, and we could have drawn a flower shape and stuck it on. but that's not very realistic. So, for this, you're going to need to have two things. You're going to need to have some clay or blue tack or anything that's kind of like putty. And also, you're going to need to have the colour card or thick paper that you would like your petals to be. Now, I've chosen pink today, and I'm going to use pink again for this one. You can choose any colour you would like. You could even have multicolour, like a rainbow. So, the first job is to take some of your clay or your putty. You don't need something this big, you just need something that's about the size of your thumbnail, okay? So make it into a little ball like this, rubbing it between your hands. And now, what you need to do is try and make that into a bit of a cube shape. You'll see why in a moment. So the best way of doing that is to put it on the table like this and to press down on all of the sides. Push in. It doesn't need to be a perfect cube, and you can put it between your fingers like this, and you'll get some sort of cube shape. The next thing you need to do, and I really would like you to ask your mum and dad to help you, is to put the scissors into the end of your putty or clay and just make a little hole. This is going to help us put that on the top of your stem. Let me show you how. We take the hole, we've got the top, and we twist it on, twist it on like a screw or a hat. Be careful not to drop it. It shouldn't be too difficult to just put that on. There we go, all done. So the reason that we've made this into a cube shape is because, firstly, we need to see the top. But we do also need to have something that we're going to stick the petals to. So let me show you how we're going to do that. I want to make 4 petals. So if I open up my sheet of paper, I folded that once and twice. Okay? That means I've got 4 squares out of my piece of paper. That means I'm going to be able to make 4 petals. So take your paper, fold it once in one direction, and then fold it over again in another direction. Now you always want to make sure that you're cutting your shape starting at your fold. If you cut in this direction, you won't have the same amount. So you can either take a pencil or you can just do what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to cut a shape that's like a petal, okay? If you do this on the where it's folded, that means you only need to cut one time. You'll see the magic. So firstly, we go over in this direction, we come around the top and back down. Be careful of your fingers and make sure there's a grown-up around to help you. Let's put this to one side. If we open this up, we have 4 petal shapes, but they're still attached to each other. So we just snip and cut them here and cut them here. So you're done with your scissors and you're done with your paper, so you can put that to one side. You will need your glue again for this one. So to attach the petals, I'm going to show you this by turning it around. What I've done is I've folded each of the ends of the petal so that I've got a little edge to be able to stick my glue. Let me show that to you now. So let's take petal number 1. We need to just fold a little bit, maybe ½ centimeter, over like this. This means we have a little flap. And that's why I wanted you to make this into a cube because once you've got a flat flap, you can stick it to a flat surface. Okay, you don't need much glue for this, and this glue is so good it dries really, really fast. Put some glue on the flap, like so. And then we're going to stick this facing upwards. Now, why do you think we're facing upwards? Well, the petals on the top of the flower like to receive sunlight too. So that's why they always move in the direction of wherever the sun is during the day. So let's pop this in. Using my thumb, I'm just going to pinch that on and hold it and count for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! We have one petal. So let's come around and do the back side now. This one is not standing up very well. It's because I've been moving it too much. Okay, again, we make a little flap, bending it about 1/2 centimetre. Put some glue on there and hold it in place for, that's right, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Petal number 2. Let's do number 3. Again, make a flap. Put some glue. And stick it on and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. And one more step and you'll have your lovely flower. The flap, some glue, and hold it on. Be careful not to hurt the other petals because the glue is still wet. And we've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there we have our lovely flower. So you can have yours standing upright if you would like to. You can bend yours slightly like I've done with my one. It's entirely up to you. So good luck with this. Have a great one. Take a photo if you can and send it to me. I'd love to see what it is that you've made. Again, this is homework, but you don't have to do it too quickly if you don't have everything around. Pop and get some things, or if you need to, you can use different resources, different things to make it. Okay, good luck, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.